So here's a funny story. I was gonna have this video go up on this date on the calendar, except I just didn't get a chance to work on the video. So no problem, I was gonna work on it the next day. Well, the next day I wound up in the hospital. Possibly appendix, possibly diverticulitis, look it up. So, yeah. Maybe the video is going up on this day, or maybe it's going up on this day. Doesn't really matter. But I am recovering from a hospital visit, so that's pretty fun. Fun stuff. Let's just see if any of the jokes fall flat or actually work out. I think this video was actually really decent, so let's just take a look into it. Petite is defined as attractively small and dainty. And let me tell you, out of all the Pokemon that qualify for the Petit Cup, that is one attractively small Pokemon. Like, beyond adorable. That eye. Ooh, that's good stuff. What? Oh, that's weird. You've seen what some people like on the internet. Good thing Magnemite doesn't have feet, or else we'd really be in a pickle. So this is a follow-up to my video from 2 weeks ago at this point. I played through Gym Leader Castle with a team of the 6 lowest base stat Pokemon, aside from Magikarp and the Weedle and Caterpie in their evolutions, but you get what I mean. So usable Pokemon. But I still got outclassed in every single way. It was a miracle that I was even able to beat Brock, and the first person in Misty's part of the castle wasn't even beatable. I tried, and my offer still stands if you can make some considerable progress in it. Let me know. Anyways, I ended with a cliffhanger after failing that challenge. Let's use the exact same team, but in the Petit Cup. Let's see if it's a little more feasible. 2 birds, a mole, a rat, a bat, and a balloon. If the sight of this team doesn't make you scared, you are truly without fear. Now, the reason I went with the Petit Cup should be obvious. The only Pokemon allowed in this cup are unevolved Pokemon, or Pokemon that have no evolution that are really short or really light. The Prime and Poké Cup wouldn't be great candidates for this challenge, as they'd have all the regular Pokemon in it, so it'd be just like Gym Leader Castle. The Pika Cup might be an okay cup to try this in, actually, but that would put in some second form Pokemon, so maybe we'll do that down the road. It's not my intended next video, unless if you really want it. But to let me know, you'll have to follow me over on Twitter. It's free. I don't know how you charge for Twitter, I guess, but I mean... So same team, a few different moves, let's do this. The first 2 trainers in the league were nothing. The first Bug Boy has all bug and grass types, and anytime I had to retry from the beginning, I'm fairly certain I never didn't get a perfect. I basically just used Fly with Spearow over and over since it's my highest attack stat Pokemon with a stab super effective move. Execute would set up barriers sometimes and just prolong death. Anytime Weedle used String Shot, it was annoying, but this guy was never any trouble at all. And the second dude had a super basic team too. He could have made things interesting with Ditto, but nothing ever really happened in this one. I think I did actually lose to him at some point, but it was just because I was ignoring everything going on. Diglett shined in this battle. Dig has 100 base power in Gen 1, so it has the exact same power as Earthquake, it just requires that extra turn. But since I'm not a sitting Ducklet during that turn, there's no downside to having this super powerful stab move. This guy's team just isn't good. I don't really know what else to say. But the third guy is where things got interesting. I never lost to this dude, but here's the kicker. Every single one of his Pokemon know either self-destruct or explosion. I was hoping Diglett would be able to cheese it real hard by being underground wherever explosions were happening, but I got unlucky enough and lost Diglett to Coughing blowing up, and Zubat actually hung on from a blow up by Ghastly. I didn't really think Zubat was going to be able to do much, mainly throwing it in there with Confuse Ray, but it was nice to know it could take a hit. Unfortunately, it took a big hit from Voltorb right afterwards. Now the good thing here was Voltorb couldn't blow up. In Stadium, the rules give you a loss if you explode and take down the other person. So if Voltorb had blown up and taken down my Rattata, it would have gotten the loss. Rattata had to take a Sonic Boom, but it had Dig on its moveset and one-shot the ball. Rattata's moveset is really diverse and it makes it very useful. And Mr. Sailor Man at battle number 4 really started to ramp things up. I was able to beat him without losing a Pokemon once or twice, but it came down to the team that he picked. Anytime Magikarp was there, it was a 3-on-2 battle. Those were really fun battles. My best bet was to use Zubat's Confuse Ray and then Mega Drain over and over. It didn't do that much damage since it wasn't stab, but it kept me above the fainting line. His Goldine's Surf hit surprisingly hard. I thought I had taken him down with Zubat, but Surf just barely finished me off. I trusted Diglett's speed to take down Goldeen before getting hit with Surf, and it worked, and he sent out Spearow next. I didn't have to worry about water moves at least. His Spearow survived Rock Slide and went for Fly, but I didn't want to take heavy damage, so I dug, knowing it would miss. But then it used Fury Attack the very next turn, which was much weaker than Fly. Then Cut chopped it down, and the first attempt was one with a Magikarp. Yeah, bless its heart. Surprisingly, it survived Dig and took 8 health away with Tackle. So like, it's trying at least. Here's your gold sticker, Magikarp. And then here's the part of the video that made this turn into an absolute drag. The 5th trainer was the worst one in the entire league. This trainer makes Lorelei seem like a pushover. First off, this team isn't bad. It's got 2 normal types, and that's it for the same types. This junior trainer knows her stuff. The type variety is enough to make it a pain. First battle and she led with Cubone. Not too bad, a good start. I tried to outsmart it by switching to Zubat so ground moves wouldn't hit, but I misclicked and sent out Rattata. At least I had Bubble Beam with it, but Rattata's special isn't great. It did a little damage. I lowered its speed and took it to red, but I got knocked out. Since it had lost some speed, I sent in Zubat to put the finishing blow on it. And in Stadium, you don't take recoil damage if you knock the Pokemon out, so Double Edge did the job. Then Growlithe popped out. It was faster than me, and does more than half my health. I used Confuse Ray to make my chance of surviving better, but it knocked me out. Diglett had the type advantage, and it went down to digging. But then, the final boss of the game showed up, and I had the win. This thing was the worst. Poly the Poliwag. This thing.
I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me.
In this battle, knowing I would be weak to its attacks, I dug to take more than half of its health, and it paralyzed me with Body Slam. I survived the slam, but the paralysis kept me from attacking first, and it knocked me out. I had this battle won, and I choked. I had to battle this girl 11 times. On about try number 7, I beat her for the first time, and I didn't use any save states this time around. One of the attempts I do have to mention. I had it down to just my Jigglypuff and her Poliwag, and then it froze me. Cool. First time beating this trainer was something special. Rattata and Cubone started it out. Bubble Beam, took a Bone Club, but it was hitting much softer this time. I barely hung on, but took out Cubone. Then Abra showed up. I hadn't battled this one yet, so I wasn't sure how to handle it. Abra's amazing speed let it hit first and took down Rattata. But Diglett was going to blow past its speed and bad defense, and Dig made for a very nice burial for Abra. And I had 2 Pokemon to take down Poliwag and Jigglypuff? She didn't use Poliwag this battle. I went for the cheapest strategy to get past her. I used Sand Attack for quite a few turns, expecting to faint, but it started missing, as one does with Sand Attack, hashtag Sand Squad. And then 2 digs took it down. I beat the junior trainer, only when she didn't have Poliwag. Doesn't matter, still won. I actually did beat Poliwag on the very last battle with this trainer in this run. I knew it was meant to be when that happened, but we're not quite there yet. Let's keep things in order. And now let's talk about the exact opposite type of battle. This junior trainer was honestly easier than the first guy. No joke, easier. I didn't lose a single Pokemon and got a perfect. Starting out with Dig on Charmander made it very easy to do well at the beginning. Then he sent in his own Diglett only to get buried. Normally I don't like that Diglett doesn't have good defense, but here it was only positive. And the last Pokemon was Magnemite, so it was a one-shot. Especially with a critical hit. Too bad it's not Steel type in this game either. That would have just been the icing on the cake. This lovely lass was more of a problem. Her Clefairy took 2 digs and just barely stayed alive, knocking out Diglett. Diglett was kinda my go-to for most battles. He's just a good one here. Rattata had quick attack, so I didn't have to worry about taking any damage from Clefairy though. Kabuto was an interesting Pokemon in the battle. Rattata had Dig, so it had a hard-hitting super effective move, but it didn't one-shot Kabuto. It hit Surf the next turn, and Rattata just barely hung on, letting it take it out. And the last Pokemon, Jigglypuff, was slow, so I was able to get a dig on it before Rattata fainted. It didn't really do much, but it hit, and that's all I needed. At the end of the battle, it was Puff versus Puff. I went to put her Jigglypuff to sleep, and my Jigglypuff had Submission, so a super effective move coupled with Immobilization, and I had a winning combination right there. On to the final battle. I wish I could say I beat this trainer first try. It would make for a much more impressive story. I was this close to buying a Rattata plushie because of this battle, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. Let's set the stage for this odd tale. I started with Jigglypuff in against Nidoran, and it went for Horn Drill, and it's faster than me. One-hit KO moves work off speed in this gen, so this wasn't good. It missed, and went to put it to sleep. It woke up next turn, and I hit with Psychic. Just one more, and it would have fainted. But then it used Horn Drill, again, and it hit me. Jigglypuff tried so hard. I wanted to save Diglett for last, so Rattata came in and was faster than Nidoran. Dig would have knocked it out too, but he swapped over to Dratini. So Dratini took a dig, but it didn't do much damage at all. If this had been from Diglett, it would have been a lot harder, but it wasn't so. I used Dig again, knocking off a little more damage, and got paralyzed. Whoever decided that using Thunder Wave was a great characteristic for Dratini is not a smart person. After a quick attack to bypass the paralysis, it locked me in bind, leaving me no choice but to swap over to Diglett. I have no idea why I didn't use Dig. I should have just used Dig. I used Cut, knowing my speed would be faster and hoping that would take it down. I should have just used Dig. It held on with 3 HP and one-shot me with Ice Beam. Rattata came in and Quick Attack took it down. I had 2 Pokemon to take down, and I was paralyzed. Dig is super effective at least. Nidoran Female went for Bide. If it was gonna hit next turn, I was done. I went for Quick Attack, and it just had 9 HP. But then it was still storing energy. Typically it only stores energy for 3 turns. This one decided to go for 4. I'm not complaining. That was beyond lucky. Another Quick Attack, and that did it. Just Nidoran Male to go through. And it had half health, but it also had Double Kick. A super effective move. 12 HP left, and I was fully paralyzed. I just sat there taking damage, feeling miserable. It took a few more attempts through the cup to get back to this spot. Like I mentioned earlier, I eventually did take down Poly with who else but Diglett. It only used Body Slam instead of a super effective move. 2 digs was enough to take it down. I just couldn't take a super effective move. That's all it took. Oh, and this was a perfect. I knew it was a good omen. On the final battle again, I led with Rattata this time, to get some heavy hits out of the way early, hoping for magic to happen. He led with Sandshrew, and then immediately swapped to Ammonite, so it lost some speed from a very low damaging Bubble Beam. I dug, it surfed, and since Ammonite is part rock, Dig was super effective, just not as super effective as I hoped it would be. And Surf was strong enough to knock me out. Diglett had stab damage to seal the deal on Ammonite though, and Sandshrew came back out. I played it a little risky, but I didn't want to lose Diglett, so I swapped out to Spearow, and my gamble paid off. I hoped he would use a ground move, and he did. I then used Mirror Move to copy Earthquake, got a critical, then got mollywopped by a rock slide, but Spearow hung on with just 5 HP. I flew up in the air, and the stab move took it to red. Spearow fainted, but Diglett had the next turn on lockdown, sealing the end for Sandshrew. But Psyduck was the last Pokemon. I dug, avoiding Surf, and landed the most insane critical hit of all time, knocking out the Psyduck. Yes, you can beat the Petit Cup with the 6 lowest base stat total Pokemon that are not worthless. This unlikely band of Pokemon accomplished what was impossible in another mode, and made it happen here. So, this definitely won't be the next video. But there is round 2 of the Petit Cup, but that involves unlocking round 2. It's gonna take a little bit. Kinda just got out of the hospital. I'm considering looking at the Petit Cup with this team. The enemy teams will be just a little tougher, so it will be more challenging, but maybe still possible. We'll find out some other time. That may be a great thing to stream over on Twitch at CoachMaxYT, where you can find me there sometimes. Watch on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel today. Please make sure that you like the video and subscribe for a whole lot more content. I hope you specifically have a great day. Yes, you. And until next time, see you later.